Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really digging into the sharp end of the pitch for Liverpool FC, specifically the attacking lineup under Arne Slot.
Yeah, we know you want to get up to speed quickly on what's happening up front, what's working, who might be moving, that sort of thing.
So let's jump right in. For this deep dive, we've pulled together quite a range of analysis.
We have tactical breakdowns, player ratings, transfer news, season previews. It's pretty comprehensive.
Our mission then is to boil all that down for you, get you the key insights on Liverpool's forwards, their performance, and, well, what the future might hold without getting completely lost in the weeds.
Exactly. All the important stuff, none of the fluff.
Okay, so let's kick things off with Cody Gakpo. He seems to have really found his feet on the left wing under Slot, hasn't he?
He really has, and it's quite a contrast, to his time under Klopp.
Right. Klopp clearly rated him, but he used him, well, everywhere.
Yeah, striker, substitute, winger, sometimes even popping up in central midfield. There wasn't really a settled position for him.
Which probably made it hard to build consistency, you'd think.
Absolutely. But Slot, well, he seems to have clearly defined Gakpo's role as that left winger.
And Gakpo sounds pleased about it too, saying it feels a bit like the old me. He feels good there.
That quote really stood out. I feel really good in this position.
It just shows how much having that clarity helps a player, doesn't it?
Definitely. And you see in the output too, right? That connection with Mo Salah.
Yes. That's a key point from the analysis. They've combined for 5 Premier League goals this season.
5?
Yeah. Only Newcastle's Murphy and Isak have managed more. They got 7. So Gakpo and Salah are right up there.
And there are specific patterns to it.
There are. A lot of it seems to be Gakpo arriving late at the far post for Salah's crosses. That's happened, 3 times for Premier League assists?
Okay.
Plus, remember that threaded pass against Man City?
Yeah.
That was Salah setting up Gakpo. And the cross against Fulham.
Gakpo headed that one in. Exactly. And then Gakpo turned provider against Ipswich, setting up Salah. It shows a real developing understanding.
It's interesting, too, how Slot's tactics seem to play into this.
Well, yeah. While he's mainly on the left, the system seems flexible enough for him to almost act like a second center forward sometimes.
How so?
If you look at where his goals come from, graphically, a lot are tap-ins, right there in the 6-yard box. So he's getting into those central scoring positions.
So he's not just hugging the touchline.
Not always, no. He doesn't often get right to the byline, apparently. It's more about angling those passes or crosses towards the far post.
Where Salah often is, or where Gakpo himself is making that late run.
Precisely. And tactically, he seems quite smart, too. The analysis pointed out how effective he was running at Everton's right side, specifically against Jake O'Brien.
And cutting inside.
Yeah, that ability to cut in like he did for that goal against Leicester City. It shows he can adapt depending on the opponent.
The stats back him up, too. Second only to Salah in end product from ball carries.
That's right. In his 15 starts, that's 14 shots leading to 2 goals and 15 key passes resulting in 1 assist just from carrying the ball. Pretty effective.
And the player ratings are generally good, like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, reflecting that strong end to the season especially. And overall, 12 goals, 4 assists in all competitions. It's a solid contribution.
So for you listening, this suggests Slot's found a really effective piece for his attacking puzzle in Gakpo on that left side. A settled player building a key partnership.
It's a very positive development, provides a good foundation.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Darwin Núñez. The situation there feels, well, a lot less certain.
Yeah, much more doubt surrounding his future, even if Liverpool potentially end the season as champions.
The comparisons to Haaland and Isak are interesting. It's not just goals, is it?
No, it's more about that consistency in the final third. The decision-making, the link-up play, holding the ball, clinical finishing under pressure. Those are areas where Núñez, hasn't quite shown the same level consistently.
And Liverpool could have actually sold him in January.
Apparently so, yeah. There was reported interest from Saudi Arabia. But Slot wanted to keep him, given they were fighting on multiple fronts then.
A decision they might regret now, perhaps.
Hindsight's always 20/20, isn't it? But yeah, the analysis suggests maybe they do, especially after falling out of the cup competitions.
And the report suggests Núñez himself might want out. His comments about wanting to forget the club situation.
That doesn't exactly scream commitment, does it? It paints a picture of maybe some frustration there. On both sides, possibly.
Those high-profile misses haven't helped his cause with the fans either. That Aston Villa open goal.
Or the penalty miss against PSG. Those moments tend to stick, and they seem to have chipped away at the goodwill he'd built up earlier, like after that Brentford game where he was excellent.
So what's the thinking now? Liverpool expecting to sell him.
The reports suggest they anticipate a strong market for him this summer, and they'd look to recoup a decent fee to reinvest.
Maybe in someone like Isak, though he'd be expensive.
Very expensive, yes. But his name keeps coming up as a potential target if Núñez leaves.
And Núñez's ratings reflect this uncertainty. A 4 out of 10 from one source.
Yeah, pretty critical, citing a bit of a regression despite some goals earlier on, and maybe not getting the consistent game time he hoped for.
Goal.com reckons Slot faces an uphill battle to salvage his Liverpool career.
It certainly sounds challenging, so the likely outcome seems to be Núñez moving on, which means Liverpool will need to make a significant move for a forward who fits Slot's system better.
Okay, what about Diogo Jota? His future is also being questioned, mainly due to injuries.
Injuries and perhaps a dip in consistency this season. That seems to be the core issue.
His goal contributions are down quite a bit.
Significantly. 9 goals and 36 appearances. That's not the Jota we've seen previously. And that 2-month injury layoff. Well, he hasn't quite looked the same since coming back.
There's also a question about his fit in Slot's system, isn't there? Compared to Klopp's style.
Exactly. Jota was brilliant in Klopp's high-intensity, quick transition game. That directness really suited him.
Whereas Slot prefers more possession, more technical build-up.
Yeah, more emphasis on positional discipline. And that might be a bit more challenging for Jota's sometimes more individualistic style.
So it's a tactical question as much as a fitness one.
It seems so. Does his style fit Slot's long-term vision as well as it fit Klopp's? He's a fan favorite, no doubt.
But the club has to be pragmatic. Balance sentiment with strategy, especially with his injury record.
And you have younger, maybe more technical players emerging. So letting Jota go could free up funds for signings perhaps better suited to Slot's ideas.
His performances in these last few games could be crucial then.
Absolutely pivotal, according to the analysis we've seen. It feels like a big decision point for Slot regarding Jota. Can he adapt? Can he stay fit? If not, Liverpool might look elsewhere.
Right. Now, moving to Luis Diaz, things seem much brighter there.
Considerably, yes. He's apparently having his best goal-scoring season for Liverpool's 17 goals, and crucially, he wants to stay.
That's always a good sign. He said he wants to talk about a renewal.
Yeah, his quote was something like, "We'll be talking about it, we'll talk about it." His current deal runs until 2027, but talks are expected. He feels happy and settled.
And his performances have been strong. High rating.
Consistently strong, yeah. Around an 8 out of 10, generally. Reflecting those contributions, that Leverkusen hat-trick was memorable, plus the 12 goals and 2 assists in all comps we mentioned, he seemed energized under Slot.
But there's interest from elsewhere. Barcelona.
That's the reported interest, yes, which puts a bit of pressure on Liverpool. They need to decide, lock him down with a new contract reflecting his value, or
potentially cash in if a huge offer comes.
That's always a possibility in football, isn't it? But the feeling seems to be that Liverpool will prioritize keeping him, given his form and his desire to stay.
Makes sense. Okay, let's talk about the main man, Mohamed Salah. Another incredible season, stats-wise.
Just phenomenal numbers again. 32 goals, 22 assists so far, involved in almost half of Liverpool's goals. He could even beat his best ever goal contribution tally from his first season.
Which was 58, wasn't it? Incredible. But the analysis does show a slight dip in the second half of the season.
It does. A statistical drop-off if you compare the first half to the second half, in terms of goals, assists, shots, shot-creating actions.
Can you break that down?
Sure. So first 27 appearances, 21 goals, 17 assists. That's about 1.4 goal contributions per game.
Okay.
Second half, the next 18 appearances, 11 goals, 5 assists. That drops to around 0.88 per game. Fewer shots per game, to fewer shot-creating actions.
And this isn't the first time we've seen this pattern.
No, the analysis suggests it's been pretty consistent throughout his time at Liverpool. More influential statistically in the first half of seasons.
Any theories why? Fatigue? Teams adjusting?
Could be a combination of things. The sheer intensity of the season, maybe opponents focusing more on stopping him later on. It's hard to say for sure.
But despite that slight statistical trend, he's still world-class.
Oh, absolutely. Unequivocally. The ratings reflect that 10 out of 10s. He's still in the Ballon d'Or conversation. The dip is relative to his own incredibly high standards.
So, the key takeaway. Still utterly vital, even if the numbers fluctuate slightly across the season.
Undeniably. Which leads us nicely into potential summer transfers, focusing on that attack.
Right. The expectation is for quite a bit of activity. 4 or 5 signings, maybe?
That's the suggestion from our sources, yeah. And a striker and a winger seem to be top priorities.
We're hearing names linked already. Semenyo from Bournemouth, Mbeumo from Brentford.
Those names have been mentioned, yes, as potential options to bolster the forward line. And as we discussed, Núñez is widely expected to leave.
The interesting bit is they're apparently looking for starters, not just squad players.
Exactly. The analysis mentioned needing 2 attackers,
Yeah.
players to play alongside Salah. That signals real ambition to upgrade the starting options.
And some big names mentioned for that striker role. Isak again, Osimhen, Sesko.
High-profile targets, definitely. Any of those would be a major statement.
Which brings us back to Diaz and Jota again. Decisions needed there.
Yes. Diaz needs that contract sorted, especially with the Barcelona links. And Jota's situation, as we said, remains up in the air.
Okay, finally, let's touch on the youngsters. Anyone close to breaking through an attack?
Well, Ryun Gamoha is one to watch. Only 16, a forward, highly rated. He's trained with the seniors, was on the bench for a cup game.
Chelsea apparently rated him very highly.
Top player was the phrase used, reportedly. And he impressed on his debut, apparently. So, huge potential there.
Anyone else?
Kirill Figueroa, an 18-year-old striker, USA Youth International, promising but no senior action yet. And Trey Nioni, the 17-year-old midfielder.
He's played in the Cups, right?
Yeah.
Can contribute further forward.
He has, yeah. Very highly thought of in the academy system.
So maybe not immediate first-team regulars, but definite talents for the future.
Yeah.
Could influence longer-term planning.
Exactly. Provides that internal pathway, potentially saving money down the line.
Right, so let's try and wrap this all up. Summarizing this deep dive into Liverpool's attack.
Okay. We've got Gakpo thriving in that defined left wing role, building that key partnership with Salah. Huge uncertainty around Núñez, and Jota potential departures seem likely for at least one, maybe both.
Diaz wants to stay. Looks likely Liverpool will push for a new contract there. Salah remains world-class, despite that slight seasonal pattern in his stats.
And we expect significant summer activity, new attackers coming in, likely starters, alongside the development of those exciting young prospects like Nugumoha.
So it really falls on Arne Slot now, doesn't it? Shaping this attack, making crucial calls on who stays, who goes, and who comes in. Big decisions ahead.
Absolutely pivotal for Liverpool's immediate future.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you listening today. With all these moving parts, how do you see Liverpool's attack shaping up next season under Slot? What kind of players specifically should they target to really complement Salah and Gakpo?
And what role, realistically, can those youngsters like Nugumoha or Nioni play in the near term? Definitely going to be a fascinating summer to watch at Anfield.